All right, let's get Davey Cronkite on. What's up, Dave?
What's up? I just saw that mashup of me saying misogenic.
There's no way it was only 7. I think it was double that. It was crazy. He said it so many times.
As I said many moons ago, how would somebody who's not familiar with that term be expected to pronounce
I like to
it?
think of you, like I was just about to say, like you calling in being like, hey, it's the guy you call misogenic. And they're like, who the fuck is this? Like, the misogenic guy.
Well, I had to do it like, I don't know, you know, I know Minahan, one thought I had was to pose as the advertiser and like play kind of dumb. And because I know, do you remember when Minahan got sued, obviously, by the mayor of Somerville because he faked being a Boston Globe reporter? But it actually is like a brilliant phone call because he was pretending to be on the side of the mayor. He kept being like, yeah, but like, what's your problem with Barstool? Like, give me one example. And he couldn't do it. And he's like, yeah, I want to write the article. Just give me something bad. And the mayor, like, Joe Cartone, absolute piece of shit. He couldn't do it. In the end, he's just like, well, I don't like people like them. It's like, you don't even know what you're talking about. But he got sued, so I know you can't record without saying it, so I just played it straight, knowing I want to use the conversation.
Before you came on, I said, I think this is one of like your best, cleanest, decisive W's of your career.
Yeah, it was pretty clean. I rarely get to talk to the people. Like, I've tried. Like, I mean, this is why they don't talk to me. I mean, she canceled the 10 a.m. and I'm sure had no intention of ever speaking with me, but they don't. All the things that are listed, it's like if you actually talk to me or any of us, it's pretty, like, anybody with a rational open mind is quickly going to be like, oh, this isn't really what they're saying it is.
Right.
So, yeah, I've never been able to engage.
Before today's cancellation, where were you at with her? Because it felt like by the end you were like, this might be a fair.
She wasn't terrible. She wasn't awful.
She was poised.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't think she did her research. So I was fine. Like, I will talk to, I get the suntan lotion. I will talk to anybody who's willing to engage me. That's my whole point. Like, even if you go back, a lot of my haters, I've started civil. It's like, hey, let's sit down and talk about it. And then when they refuse to and they continue to say things, I get, my anger goes up. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's just the same shit over.
Yeah, I know. That's what's so crazy.
Do you think she was
and all the people who are like supporting me now are right, like all right-wing people.
Yeah.
You don't hear like Jesse Waters, Fox, like invited me to go on tonight at 8 to talk about it. Nobody on the left, even though it's horrible what they're doing, nobody on the left will be like, do you want to talk about it? So it's just
you would say yes to those people, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Do you think she was told by like a higher up, don't actually talk to him tomorrow? Or do you think she just never had any intention? It was just like, let me just get this guy off the phone.
No, I think it would be crazy to say it as many times as she did.
Right, she seemed like she actually was.
She offered, for the sake of clarity, I tweeted this. She tried to push it back to 5 p.m. And I'm like, no, we're doing it at 10 because the article has to come out Friday because the event is Saturday. So that, to me, is the same thing that all these journalists do, which is we write the story. We're going to try to add credibility by giving like 1 minute. So, but like, what could she change that late in the game? So, and by the way, nothing like popped up. There's clearly a reason. She's the one who suggested 10 a.m. There's a reason that shifted to the evening. The only thing I could think is lawyers are involved on maybe, because she did say things that, like, if I really want to go, it's so hard to sue, and I never would on something like this. But it's like she openly was like, yeah, I don't know anything about you. I don't know that the things that I'm saying are true, but I'm trying to get a negative reaction. That is pretty gray area, I think. I think that is like interference.
Yeah,
like
I don't think you would like win a decisive lawsuit or something, but you could probably bring one on those, defamation or something along those lines. I thought, comparing it to when Kirk called the other guy earlier this week and he just shut down and hung up, when she clearly, I mean, she was poised, but she got like, she was never going to have this conversation.
I think she realized.
So I don't want to give her too much credit, but she was talking her way through it. But maybe the most like fatal flaw I've ever seen in a debate her saying, I said negative things about you to get them to respond is like, I mean, signed, sealed, delivered, debate over in my mind.
That's the second time. And it just shows. I've probably gotten a reporter who has trashed me to engage with me twice. And both times they said that. It's Blog TO in Toronto. Like, they wrote, again, on pizza, and they wrote all this negative stuff about me. And she came on with me on a podcast, and she openly said, I write negative stuff because it's better for engagement, regardless of it's.
You know what, though? I said this on Twitter after you posted your video. That always plays. That's always true. You write negative shit, you get your clicks. You write negative things about Barstool, you get your clicks. It's been so long now, and it's so tired. The first person that ever would say, I was going in negative, I did want to trash on him, and then I listened to him, and I actually learned a different story, and I'm telling you that story, I think is so much more interesting journalism than just the same old shit. And for people, everybody's in this game to get more followers, subscribers, clicks, a bigger status. That's the play right now, is to
start as a hit piece, end as a fluff piece.
Not even a fluff piece,
my mind was
a fair
changed.
piece. Yeah.
Emily Rooney. This is like going way back. She's like kind of an older woman on NPR. She had me on during Bradygate when the dick thing. Yeah. She's the only one ever who openly was like, I came in hating everything about you, thought I despise you. By the end of this conversation, she's like, I get what you're doing, and like I don't see what the controversy is necessarily about. It also the thing that, and it's the same shit. I just was able to package it and get the reporter within a second to essentially be like, I didn't say anything negative about you. It's like, well, here it is. And then she's like, that just set the whole tone because she lied within a second. Right. But it's the cycle. Like, it's all stemming. There's two people. It's one, that Jeremy Schneider, who at NJ.com, he's not like a real reporter. He's a schmo bicycle guy who, like, what they like journalist says, that guy's not a journalist. He's a loser nobody who's like a freelance reporter on a .com website with no office. Like, how is that? Who has been, by the way, tweeting negatively about me for 13 years. This guy there, now he becomes a journalist, and the other guy is some chef out in California who I'd never heard of, Kenji Alt, who is obsessed with me, and he keeps trying to shame these pizza places. He has like 600,000 followers. He actually had to apologize during like COVID and the Trump era because he was basically like, if you support Trump, I'm kicking you out of my restaurant. And they're like, you can't do that. And he had to like apologize. It's all the same shit, but these two. So Kenji Alt, guess who he's like best friends with? One of the writers of this Washington Post article. It's all the same shit over and over. So it's not surprising.
I just, do they not do, go ahead, sorry.
What, do you know when that email was sent to the advertisers? No. You mentioned the Jeremy Schneider thing. I wanted to ask you, do you think if you making that story, like acknowledging that story, made them go, oh wait, this is a bigger story? Like, not this is a bigger story, but since he made it a big deal.
That would have been a really quick turnaround, though.
That's why I'm wondering if it was sent right then.
I mean, I think it always plays in when we mention it, but the people who don't like us are going to take it and run with it. And it also, it's like new things. It's almost like hockey Twitter. There's this pizza Twitter thing, like these little small accounts, and they're inherently like jealous of me because I'm like King Kong in the pizza industry, like I'm it, and they're these little nobodies that nobody gives a fuck about. The ironic thing is, pizza places do not give a fuck.
No, why would they? They're slinging dough.
Unless they're in Somerville,
they got pies to roll out in the
most they don't give a shit. Like, you walk into most of them, like it's so nuts. Most of the, like the Washington Post, the Jeremy Schneider, who was showing you literally how to wear a mask. And I don't care about masks. Like, at one point, I'm like, if we think it helps, wear it. But these people were fighting to shut pizza places down.
Right.
I was fighting to open them. I fought to save them. They wanted them to go out of business, and now they're mad for associating. The whole thing is nuts. But again, if you object, like that guy Kenji Alt, some people don't believe, I think, what they say about he does. Like he thinks everything that's been said and written about me is the truth. Well, and I go read Jeremy Snyder. Dave Portnoy said the N-word. It's a little different when you say Dave Portnoy said the N-word versus Dave Portnoy announcing Ja Rule and Ashanti sang 5 songs and saying the lyric of like it you just take everything out of context. The Kenji Alt guy, one of his main theses is that I'm a union buster.
Well, that's the difference. You know what it is? Like the pizza places are like real world people who are like, I run this business, I need to make money, this helps me put food on the table. I don't care.
Yeah, they got to make fucking payroll. Like, roll out dough. They're not worried about, like, internet.
And these journalists or bloggers or fucking internet social media accounts are like fantasy world where they want internet points and they want pats on the back and they want a virtue signal and all that shit. And it's like anybody who actually needs to do real world shit doesn't give a fuck about this kind of stuff.
Not only that, you're going to be an absolute dickhead. Like, again, let's set aside what's true and what's not. Obviously, we all believe it. And know it's so widely out of context, and people who have followed us forever know that. But they try to put like the pizza places in a box.
Right.
It's like what is your choice here? It's basically like threatening them. It's like, hey, you're dealing with this guy who's this. She openly reports like, I don't even know if that's true. We're gonna write about it, and we're gonna make you seem like you're bad people. It's like, why are you trying to ruin small businesses? Like it makes we've spent so much money on this Pizza Fest. If pizza places are like, well, we're dropping out, like, what do they think is going to happen? It's going to be World War III.
It's very similar, I think, almost to what you were saying a couple days ago about the people who wanted the allegations about you to be true. It's like this, like they want these pizza places to fail. They want it to be you're bad and that they're fucking up, rather than like if you found out the story was like, no, it's all good and everyone's happy and they're making money, they're like angry about that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what the fuck? What do you care?
They don't realize that they're fucking over the small business by doing this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, I think they do realize it.
They just don't care?
I think they just want their clicks. They're just like, mom.
They don't. So they're just they're faking that they're like for the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe they do.
Well, they're not saying they're for anything. They're just getting clicks they're using me. And obviously we play into it because we talk about it and all this stuff. And I get tons of, I mean, that video has like, I think close to 30 million views now on.
Okay, so here's what I was saying before you came on. Let's say if you gave those people a crystal ball and they knew the article they write, if they wrote a positive article like we just described, I met with Dave, I actually liked him, here's the tale. If you told them that will get 10 times the likes, the views, likes, clicks, whatever, 10x. Do you think they would do it, or do you still think they want the pats on the back from their circle?
I don't know. It's sometimes so hard to figure out.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
What's real
and you want to
what's
succeed
not.
at your job that you like, you at least at one point
they need their
wanted
echo
to do,
chamber
honestly.
to be like, great job. You almost got the bad man. You almost got him this
from
time.
their circle.
It's never going to work.
But if you believe that I am what these people think I am, then the clicks shouldn't matter. You think you're somehow
But don't you
heroic.
think like it hasn't worked in 15 years? Like it's not. You're going to be the one-hit piece that sticks? I don't think so, because nobody else is. So you're just like yelling into the fucking wind now.
Do you think there's a chance they'll ever stop? Like, I know obviously ads can still get canceled, but now without Penn, without the gambling regulating aspect of it, like, I know they can still have an effect, but in 2035, are we still going to be hearing hit pieces about size 6 skinny jeans?
I think so. And again, like the way they pose that, literally on that guy, Jeremy's like said the N-word multiple times, supports women being raped. It's like that is how they list the things. It's like, so if you don't know who I am, and you just go down that list, it's like, this guy's the fucking worst, but it's so out of context.
That's a bad dude.
I read it. They'll say he filmed an employee in the shower naked. It's like literally.
How is this guy not in prison?
Right.
That is what's on the list. It's like, this is crazy.
I got to get this article up. This guy's a monster.
It's pretty funny that on paper, you are a literal monster.
Monster.
But also on paper, they'll never list the other shit. Raise $50 million, and because it's like,
Well, that's what I said. It's like, you can write an article that this is the greatest assembly of pizza ever under one roof, which it is, and it's making a ton of money. It's a great festival. You like that is a story, but they're choosing to try to tear it down. That's that's just the state of the media.
Well, that's always been the like if it bleeds, it leads sort of thing on the news.
Yeah. Murder
and rape and all this crazy shit. And so a list of good things about Dave Portnoy doesn't do shit. But I don't know. I think there is a market almost, like the world is kind of there's a lot of people who are sick of that shit, that if you went the other way, you probably would be successful. But it's from people you don't like,
It's kind of a hard thing because it is like if you don't think it, you don't.
Yeah. But that's where they're supposed to like research.
Yeah.
And they don't. They just. Okay.
There is quite literally, if anybody sat down even for 15 minutes and went through each accusation from the least important to the most important, anybody with a clear, unbiased mind would be like, there's nothing here. Like that is the only explanation to come from when you look at both sides. They just don't look at both sides. Now, she clearly said it in the most, concise way that like she's just mimicking and parroting what everybody else says.
I would love for them to have to watch the Smitty video. But listen, he was in the shower, but there was news about Tom Brady and the Eagles.
You know what I remembered? I remembered when they put it, what was so urgent that I had to go up there. It was Tom Brady released that, like, he's the lion video. Do you remember that one, Feidelberg, before the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Like, don't push the lion or something. Like, I saw it. I'm like, oh, my God, they're dead. And I ran in. Now, Smitty is all human garbage and, like, freaked out to a point, a foggy mirror that you couldn't see shit. I like stuck it around, and he's a worthless human, and he's done nothing but create headaches for me by overreacting to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that the fact that one sticks is like
union busting is just as crazy.
That is funny. There are people who really believe that, though.
That I killed the union within Barstool because I think PFT and Tommy were faking a union.
I had a call with some reporter where I was like, it's so bad here. Like, we're trying to unionize and, like, he won't let us. And then I think he figured out by the end of it that I was trolling him. He didn't write the article.
I still see it mentioned. So I've come to grips. It'll never, ever change. That's just the way it goes. But it is frustrating when you're trying to do a fucking pizza event that has nothing to do with anybody and people are trying to destroy it.
Do you think if you put out something that was like, because I do think your star status has elevated a lot over the last few years. If you were like, I will give, you'd have to be like somehow proven that they're trustworthy. But like, I will give you unfettered access to me for like a week, and you can write like the defining article on me. And if you do think some negative things, you do think some positive things, whatever. I think somebody would jump at that, and that would be like the biggest thing ever written.
I don't know if I could ever trust anybody without it being recorded, because even you go back and look what that woman did from HBO.
Yeah,
she was like,
what's the? Okay, let's do that. The benefit maybe is that he writes a fair piece, and the negative is this, and it never sticks. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's a headache for you maybe, but like this doesn't slow you down ever. So,
no, I mean, I've offered my thing, which always is the sticking point with the people who don't like me. The New York Times, this person is. I always want to record now. It's because I know how dishonest so if you're willing to go on the record and let me record, I'll sit down with anybody. Happily.
I know you said on the call with her like that you always get lumped in with the Trump haters, Elon haters. Where do you think that stems from? Like that, I feel like happened before the Trump. But I feel like that was happening even before the Trump interview.
You think the Portnoy Elon Musk?
No, I think that was happening before. That was happening before. Yeah, the shirt.
Portnoy Musk 2024.
Like they hated you even before the Trump interview. They hated him before the Trump interview.
I was very like pro-Trump when he ran the first time. I'm like, he'll break the politics.
Yeah, we did sell
vote for him. Yeah.
So he voted for him, and he made T-shirts.
It's also where like people equate bro culture with like Trump, and that is how a lot of people view Barstool. So
with Barstool, I was wondering, because like this is by far not an apples to apples comparison, but when we used to do, back in the day, we were a small blog. Like if we had something like that here, where someone was constantly going at a person. Now, it's not apples to apples because they are, obviously much more serious accusations in your case. But would you ever be like, look, there's nothing, like, stop with this fucking guy? Like, why do you hate X celebrity or X person so much?
Yeah. I think I would. It depends the type of accusation. Like, Rico would do that at times. Like, yes, ours are so different, but because they're far more serious as opposed to Rico's like generally crazy. But yeah, I think I would.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be kind of like a crazy person. Well, he is crazy, but to go after. We're in so many fights, and I've always said it, and again, it's like a broken record. We don't start the fights. Right. Like, we never have, we never do, but when we respond, it becomes a story.
Yeah. It's like we went back and forth to that with like, and again, I'm very aware they're not apples to apples by any means. But like sitting here, like it'd be so like if Travis Kelce's like, it'd be so easy to just say I'm a good guy and like it's a good relationship.
Yeah.
Whereas like that's not kind of what the gist of Barstool's take on it is. And again, I know it's not. They're not apples to apples. It's very different.
You mean Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift? Is that?
Yeah. Like he's like, can't you just write a nice thing on the site?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's really a fair comparison.
No, I agree. But I'm wondering if it got more like if there was a different situation.
And by the way, for the most part, I'm generally like straightforward. If I attack somebody, if I'm like off the bat, if there's like an agenda behind why I'm attacking somebody, I generally say it. Like. People like that Jeremy Schneider kid should have written that I have hated him for 13 years. Like, I have tweeted about him, like, thought I saw Dave Portnoy in a coffee shop. I almost lost my mind. Like, he's tweeted that. Like, that should have to be
so fucking weird.
It's that guy's entire personality.
Saw 5 different ones of you or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, it was like a fatal attraction syndrome with me.
I don't know if it's money or following or what, but like that level of jealousy is.
But it's before. It's so much. It was like 2013.
Yeah, it wasn't even that big. Yeah. Do you know? Oh, but that's the guy who you did something to his friend or whatever, right? There's always like some weird.
No. You're thinking of the clown.
Oh, the clown. I'm mixing up clowns. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
I think you did something to the clown's friend, Kevin. It wasn't me.
What? What? I don't know. What was it?
We wrote something that was fair, but about his female friend. I think she was upset about a ridiculous copyright thing. Like Meal, MEIL. I just reread it when he did it again.
Oh, was that the $50 gift card girl?
Yes.
Yeah, they just said yeah.
$50 gift card girl?
Oh, that was... Yeah, I don't remember.
I could be confusing things.
Yeah.
No. I mean, there's every chance. There's so many.
But whatever it wasn't overly bad. It actually could have been somebody complaining about not having like a journalism job or something to that effect.
Right.
I can't remember.
It's whatever the reason is, it's always. Do you think it's all KO Barstool?
Without KO Barstool, are we here?
Well, yeah, both good and bad. Like, do you think that the image would have inevitably end up? Yeah.
No, I don't think it would have been inevitably because take a look at Nelk. As far as I know, they don't deal with any of the shit that we deal with.
Yeah.
And they're like far, like for the things people don't hate about us, like they'll walk around with like Trump flags and like wave them and be dancing with them on stage. And I don't see the articles in the major press about them like us.
This past week, who told Sophia she was a 31-year-old washed up, run through like ratchet.
Run through was a wild thing.
Nothing. Not a peep about misogenic.
You know why? And I don't know if this is good or bad, but it's increased. I sort of get taken seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Nelk does not.
Right.
Like
right.
That I don't know why that is. Like they'll delve into subjects, but maybe it's because I go on the Fox. I don't know.
I think it's
the size of the company. Like
yeah,
look at what you have versus
you made Barstool. I mean that is Nelk is a very successful operation, but like I think it's different to run a company of hundreds of people and
maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't think if KO,
I don't know.
I don't think if KO Barstool came along, things would have gone the way that they have for us. Like that was a defining
But so do you think some of it, do you think it's positive as well, as terms of money and success and all that?
Yeah,
so
100%.
So I think I've asked you this before, but you would sign for that again, or you would want to do it over?
Yeah. It 100% has helped us. It's made our fans stronger. I don't know. It's just crazy time. I don't know who you trust. Like, I've asked this before. If you want to get a straight spin on a story, where do you go?
Barstool Sports. I mean,
right?
The problem is that Business Insider, that was a fucking joke of a website when that came out. They were like just a website. They were like basically a blog, but the word business is in it, and people started to take it seriously. It gets enough readers that people think that means it's legit. It's like, no. So why the fuck do their investigations even count? It used to be you could count on the Times and Washington Post, and now that's even out the window.
They're all just.
And to be honest, if I wasn't involved in this industry, I think I'd still be like, yeah, the Times tells the truth. The Washington, I wouldn't be paying attention to it. And you grow up with it, and you don't my dad swore by it. It's like, all right, yeah, those are why they don't do it. And then you're in it, and you're like, holy shit. And that's always been my point. Fox and the Times, Fox and Washington Post, they're the same thing. They're just on different sides.
Yeah.